Hello everyone, this is the Unheroic Side of Leadership, Chapter 3 by Jose Luis Mejia. Chapter 3 is written by Jerome T. Murphy, who is a professor at Harvard University. Dr. Murphy specializes on administrative practices and organizational leadership. Dr. Murphy states that heroic leadership is back in fashion. Everyone wants to be a hero, even if in a small way, to be respected and accepted by others. It creates an illusion of a true leader being a hero, someone that is admired by followers. Dr. Murphy's quote in Chapter 3 resonated with the idea that heroic leadership can be problematic long term. This heroic approach can be counterproductive to an organization's success because it relies heavily on the shoulders of one person, the leader. There are too many problems and objectives to maintain. Let's read his quote. The objective of all dedicated leaders should be to thoroughly analyze all situations, anticipate all problems prior to their occurrence, have answers to these problems, and move swiftly to solve those problems when called upon. However, when you are up to your wits' end and alligators, it is difficult to remind yourself that your initial objective was to drain the swamp. Again, the idea that there are too many problems for just one person. Heroic leadership is back in fashion. Dr. Murphy states that there are 6 heroic leadership characteristics. We'll look at each characteristic and demonstrate what the importance is under this heroic approach. Characteristic number 1 must possess a clear personal vision in order to establish a purpose for the organization. However, the key word here is personal, one person, individual. The vision falls on the ideas of one person. 2, be extremely knowledgeable. After all, you are the hero. You must have the right answers for every single problem. 3, be strong. You must display initiative and courage in front of others. Characteristic number 4, communicate forcefully. To be able to aggressively convey the vision and persuade others. It's not so much that people are following you, but you are forcefully making others do what it is that you want them to do. 5, amass power and use it for organizational improvement. The ability to use others for organizational success. 6, take charge attitude. To solve problems to achieve personal vision. As you can tell by now, heroic leadership sounds a little bit narcissistic. It's not always about swooping in to save the day. Any leader believes that he or she can do everything better than anyone else is a root cause of inhibiting workforce productivity. Let's look at our guiding questions. Is being a heroic leader realistic? Are we to become a lion? Strong-willed characters who have no patience for fools or slackers that buck the system and take no crap in order to win? The answer is that heroic leadership is not realistic. In the book, we see the responses as only a few individuals can actually implement these heroic standards. Problems are so complex that leaders must be visionary and not necessarily heroic. Leadership is complex, and being a lion is only one-sided. Unheroic leadership. Dr. Murphy states that leadership balance is obtained when one chooses to be unheroic, the humble approach. There are 6 unheroic leadership qualities that can produce better organizational success. Let's evaluate the characteristics and the importance as to why unheroic leadership is a much better path. Characteristic number 1. A leader must be able to develop a shared vision. Keyword here, shared. Vision is discovered and dispersed within the organization. It includes others in the development throughout the process. Number 2. A leader must be willing to ask questions. Administrative life is full of uncertainty. We must not be a know-it-all. 3. Coping with weaknesses. Leaders need compassion, candor, and acceptance of weakness. We must be willing to display our weaknesses so that others can see and help us. 4. We must listen and acknowledge. This allows leaders to understand world and perspectives of others. 5. Leaders must be able to depend on others. This is essential for shared power. It is essential to have an organization that does not have a top-to-down approach. It is balance for the leader. Number 6, being able to let go. As leaders, you are faced with so many problems, you must be able to manage them effectively, knowing which ones to address first and which ones to put second. Leaders must decide to do some things superficially while doing others with much more expertise. Unheroic Leadership Part 2. Great leaders view each interaction, question, or even conflict as a coaching opportunity. Unheroic leadership is about developing the leadership capacity within yourself and also those that follow. Leaders are quiet lambs as much as they are roaring lions. So we're getting into the balanced approach now. Your role as an unheroic leader is to develop talent to the highest levels, create autonomous thinking and execution. Great leaders don't subscribe to a do-it-for-you methodology of talent management. Instead, unheroic leaders mentor, coach, and develop team members by getting them to buy into a do-it-yourself work ethic and working together collaboratively. Again, the idea that a leader is a lion and a lamb. And throughout history, we've seen unheroic leadership, from Abraham Lincoln to Nelson Mandela. Ultimately, I believe Dr. Murphy presented us with an essential paradox in leadership. Restoring balance means being able to be heroic and unheroic at times. Below is an organizational chart that shows how they contrast with one another. Let's review them. You must be able to possess a clear personal vision, but then transform it into a shared vision with collaboration and development of others. You must be knowledgeable, but at the same time, be humble enough to ask questions. At times, you'll have to be strong to take initiative and show courage, but at the same time, be able to cope with weaknesses in yourselves and in others. You must be able to communicate forcefully to convey your vision, but also step back and listen and acknowledge others. You must amass power to move the organization forward, but also do it on the reliance of others. It's not a me attitude, but it's a we attitude. You must be able to take charge, but at the same time, know when to let go of certain things or pass them on to your followers. Final reflection. To be a lamb is really to be a lion. What does this mean? This means that a true heroic leader does more with less. It means that a leader needs to be visionary and be able to apply heroic and unheroic characteristics. Organizational success relies on the leader's ability to use these intertwined characteristics to solve problems, build common visions, and move the organization along. Leadership must not be a top-down approach. It must be established at all levels of an organization, going back to being able to coach your followers so that someday they can lead.